massage therapist will cost you 10 grand to get a license. I'm going to show you a business you can start for 500 bucks. By the way, would you guys be excited if you could completely explain Nikken across any border, anywhere in the world? If I could show you in 20 minutes or less how to educate, train, and get people started. What if I could show you everything you need to know to build this business, and you could do it tonight when you walked out of here in under 20 minutes? Would you guys be excited about that? Yeah. I'm going to show you. Now, the world has changed. Have you changed with it? How many of you guys have really rethought? How many of you guys realize that blacksmiths in 1890 sitting around going, these roads are never going to catch on? In the old economy, you wanted a skill set and a resume. In the new economy, there's two things that a company can never downsize. You guys know what they are? What does every company want more of?
Money.
Customers, and yeah, they want money, but how do you get money if you're a customer, if you're a company?
More customers.
More customers, and to get customers, you need more what?
Product.
The product, but you need what else? It doesn't. If I've got a product in Shanghai and I've got 1 million people in America, what do I need?
Distribution.
Distribution. What if you guys could work with a multi-billion-dollar multinational company and be both the distributor and the customer? This would be interesting. Right? That's what we're going to do. You know, my wife and I both have college degrees. She went to the University of Texas. She was an executive at Saks Fifth Avenue when I met her. She used to go on buying junkets to like Fashion Week and smash shows in Vegas and all this stuff. And she would go to these Diane von Furstenberg things and bring home like 8 dresses. And then when she didn't work in that industry, they actually cost what the dresses cost, which is different. She'd bring home stacks of these jeans that were like 400 bucks a pop. She had a cool career. You know the problem? It was fun to buy the stuff. It was the 60 hours a week when she got back to work that stunk. She has to have a closet for her closet. I'm not kidding you, man. Every pair of shoes, you could feed Ghana on the stuff she wears on her feet. And I'm serious about that. So the reason I bring that up is because we're not a couple of stoops. I mean, I'm a stoop, but I was a stoop with choices. We didn't get into Nikken because we got excited. We didn't get into Nikken because we blindly followed some upline. We got into this because it was a multi-billion-dollar 5A1 rated global company with the only total wellness plan in the world. And we figured we're the customer and the distributor, not an employee. It wasn't emotional. It was simply logical. First thing I do, they teach you if you're ever in combat, get your back in a corner, dig in deep. And if they're going to get me, they're going to have to, it's going to take a lot of guys to get me. So if I'm in this company, do you guys think that's a pretty secure setup in the new economy, being a distributor to customer with a global corporation that has a wide footprint? Why do you want a large global corporation? Because the wider your stance is and the bigger the stance is, the harder it is to knock you over. Nikken's just a really big company, folks, with a lot of products. Now, having said that, ask yourselves this question, okay? Why in the world are you working? You know why most people are working to be asking the question? They don't even know how to answer it. They're working because it's what you do. I signed a mortgage based off last month's paycheck. I signed a car payment based off last month's paycheck. Why do you work next month? To pay last month's obligations. How many people would agree with that? Then you lose that first job, and then you take the job that makes 90%. You only took it, not because you love it, but because you had to pay your bills. How many people think that sounds pretty accurate today? Yeah. Oh, says, I like my job. I'm like, yeah, right. If you won the lottery, you'd be the one on TV saying, I'm going to keep working. How long does that usually last? Right?
A month.
When people tell me they like their job, let me give you the translation. Here's what I say back to them. Oh, so you have the job that you hate the least, that sucks the least, that pays the most you can find. And when you tell me you're not willing to look at Nikken, what you're really telling me is, I'm already overstressed, I'm already overburdened, I already can't handle what I'm doing. The last thing I can do is make another decision that's going to make me busier. What they're hearing from you is, I want your time to make me busier. What I'm saying is, I am not coming to make you busier. If you're splashing next to that sunken ship, I'm in the helicopter with the raft to pull you out. Not for you to tell me, not now, I'm drowning. Okay? We're here to throw you a raft. Nikken is not here to make you busier tonight, folks. Nikken's here to set you free. If you can get busier for a year or two, you can be free for the rest of your life. It really is that simple. It is simply a more appropriate tool to help you live the life that you might actually want, instead of the life that you have to do all the stuff that you have to do. It lets you reverse it. Now, keep running through this. How many of you guys think you with a team is better than you alone? Okay, now I'm going to talk about this for just a minute. MLM has always been the you with a team concept. Generation 1 MLM was really before IT, before technology. You guys know how Amway worked? You You had to fax in orders and stuff. In fact, in Amway, below silver, or what they called direct, back in the day, you actually kept track in pencil and paper your downloads. You guys all know that?
Yeah.
And like the reason they called that level direct, silver and Nikken was called direct. Do you guys know why our first level is called direct? Because it was telling people you can order the stuff direct. That was a big deal. My dad was in Amway. They used to back the truck up, and he'd be out there doing LOC. I remember that. I remember them in the living room going, LOC, LOC, thinking, what in the world is going on down there? It is not a call. And you know, it's bad when you got in. So like if you were in my group, let's say I was in Austin and you were here, I was your silver, you'd have to come to Austin to get your gear. Who's ever run out of TP just when you're upstairs? There's the shower curtain. No. What's worse than making the walk downstairs? Now what's even worse than that is the drive across town. Bum, 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 bum. Honey, it's 3 a.m. Bum, 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 bum. You're my upline silver, right? I need my shipment. I said shipment. I need it now. But that's how old MLM worked. And you know, if you had 500 or 600 people in your group, and you had, by the way, you guys remember when long distance calling was like 20 cents a minute?
Yeah.
How did you communicate with people even 20 years ago? You didn't. Right, so what they did was mailing labels. That's how they came up with the big motivational seminars, all the books and the tapes and the tools, because you had to find a way to keep your people motivated. So it was tape of the week, book of the week, book of the month, quarterly events, weekly live events in your city. That whole structure was set up at a time when people couldn't communicate with each other. And by the way, that was set up at a time when people had 3 television channels, no internet. They basically had a lot of open time compared to now. You know what the effect of Facebook and all this stuff has done? You literally cannot get a free minute anymore. As soon as my airplane lands when we travel, what's the first thing everybody does? You know what's weird? I was sitting the other night and somebody texted me, and I was sitting at dinner. I'm trying to remember where I even was. And I said, I was with Gary Linder out in, I don't even know where we are, Phoenix. And so I'm texting people back. And I said, I'm really sorry. And afterwards we started talking about it. I said, I know I shouldn't text back, but the problem is they all expect an immediate answer. They're in my group. So now you have the expectation that if you don't answer the text, what do people start doing? Right? Facebook. So what this has done is made our lives more crowded. There's 800 channels on TV. There's wireless internet. There's movies on demand. So you got less time, and people are working more hours. So you got a real problem. But Wave 1 MLM was slow, but if you stuck around and built it, they'd say the saying, 90% of people quit in the first year, but the 10% make double. 10 or 50% of them quit the second year, but they make triple. And so if you stuck around and built it, you would have an asset for life. You guys all know that about old MLM, right? That's if you could put up with your teeth itching from all the tapes and the tools. You can be a winner! Okay, great, I appreciate that. That'll be $500 for my seminar. About 1999, I remember a new thing happening in MLM. I was in a hotel, and I saw this cat come rolling in with this thing that said Monavie. And I didn't know, or not Monavie, Noni. And he had a hatchback. And I saw him rolling these cases of stuff into the hotel and going back to his car, rolling these cases of stuff in. And I didn't know what it was. I'd never seen it. I said, what are you doing? He said, well, we're a new kind of home business. And so I watched this thing, and the room went from 8 people to 50 people to 100 people. And then a year and a half later, it was 70 people to 50 people to 20 people. And then I would see this company come in and that company come in. And I would watch a lot of the same people in the same groups coming into the hotel with different boxes of stuff. I've seen this over the last 10 years. So what happened was they realized that old and slow wasn't doing it. And by the way, they were right, because that was a different time. They started building these companies that were fast. So in the day when a person with a blog can make $1 billion company respond, correct? You guys agree with that? Mm-hmm. Do you guys think that somebody with a blog can get on the CNN today? Yes. You have a disproportionate ability now to mass communicate. So if you've got somebody that has a miracle vitamin, and I've got a computer, I'm going to start a company. I'll buy an off-the-shelf compensation plan. By the way, all the old plans, the originals, were stair-step breakaways. Out of the 17,000 network marketing companies that have been started since 1947, 10 have made it to their 10th birthday. 10. You're in one of them here. And that's because the way you have to set up the compensation plan, part has to go to the company to keep it healthy, part goes to R&D for the next products, part goes to the distributors, part goes to the downline. Would you guys agree that for a company to be healthy, it has to be set up that way? Well, these new comp plans, they realize that if all I have is a jug of something, I don't have to worry about being around for 5 years, because even if I sell $1 million, it's going to end up on the shelf at the grocery store. Coca-Cola is going to knock it off. So I've got a 5-year window why nobody has the patent. So I'm going to invent a compensation plan. That's where the matrices, the unilevels, and the binaries came in, to where they're going to pay everything out the nose and sell boxes of stuff. And then in 4 or 5 years, when it starts to dip, all the top people leave and go to a new company. It's actually a business model now to blow these out. And the owners love them because they don't put any money into the company. Okay? And what they do to add the second and third product is they get somebody with a vitamin formula in Utah typically. And by the way, most of the juices and stuff in the market are made by 4 or 5 companies out in Utah. And they relabel them. Like if you guys look at like a Slim Fast, they'll add a scoop of this, take out a scoop of that, and repackage it. It's at third shift. Look on the label of all the nutritionals in the marketplace. It'll say at the bottom, this is vegan, and then at the bottom of the label will say it contains milk and dairy products because it's run on a shift from another company. This is what happens. So these business models are set up to be in, and the way the binaries are set up is you have this thing where, and the advantage of the binary is this. You sign up, you get your membership, you buy 4 cases of garbage, you duplicate, right? It's easy. All the money's paid out the nose in those first levels. What happens if all of your paycheck is built around the sign-up kits of 4 bottles at a pop, or 8 bottles at a pop, what happens the minute recruiting dips? Paycheck goes away. The other thing that happens is, anytime you see an MLM where they're in pre-launch, that means they don't have enough customers. If you see an MLM that's back recruiting to the previous company, what that means is it's a closed loop. If I'm going to recruit you into my new company and you're over here, you're only going to leave if you're not doing well, right? And if you're not doing well, it means you have no warm market, right? So I'm going to bring you over, sell you 4 more boxes of garbage. You're going to come over here with no warm market. Where's she going to be in 12 months? Right, so what happens is the companies do this, and then they do this, and you keep seeing the same companies. So you get a company like Noni, and then they have to merge with Mangosteen, and then they jump over to Monavi, and then Monavi raids the previous 2 companies. And then that CEO goes to like a Juice Plus, and then that CEO will go to a SIA, and they'll keep having the same trajectory. And they come in, they go out, they come in, they go out. I'll show you guys all the stuff tonight. You make your own decisions. Okay? It's the same thing. And just to show you guys this, these are all Wave 2 companies right here. Okay? On this one right here. These are all Wave 2 companies. Every one of these products, as soon as it opens, all of those products were Wave 2 MLM companies. Every single one of those. Mangosteen, SIE, Goji, all of these used to be network marketing products. And that's the store shelf at HEB. Okay? So the minute they go off patent, what happens? And then you're left with the horrifying ability of, I've got 5,000 people in my group, and then I get to say, yeah, but ours is 6.2% more absorbable. That's what happens. And you guys take a look at this. And by the way, look at the price points. These are the knockoffs. $30, $20, $40. It's pretty much the same price points. They can't really budge the prices because the manufacturer who makes them most of the time will simply relabel them and sell them out to other companies. Okay? Look at this one right here. These are diet and weight loss products and energy products. Almost all of these came out of other network marketings. Okay? Let me show you this. That is all those network marketing companies. I zoomed in a little closer. See that price point right there? Just so you guys have an idea what's in the industry. And then take a peek at this. Noni and Goji, those are knockoffs of the knockoffs. That's the industry. Someone said there, well, I'm involved in one with coffee. And I said, that is a great idea. Almost no one's involved in coffee. Now the reason I show you guys this, would you all do me a favor? Would you all please, one thing, I left my pictures at home. Where is the total wellness section of your grocery store? Do you guys agree that Nikken can change products and still be the same company? If you're built on Goji juice and that comes off patent, what happens to your company? It's dead as a bucket of fried chicken. So that's it. And the other thing is, watch how companies conduct themselves in the industry and you'll learn a lot about the company. What do they say about if the fruit? What does the fruit tell you about the tree, everybody? It is. I believe there's a code of ethics that make companies better or worse. And I believe the minute you have low ethics, I believe that you get a bad result. I don't think there's a middle ground between ethics and result, at least not if you're going to last. I've been doing this for over 13 years. I've never had to do anything I apologize for. And when I gave you my word I would be here, they will bury me in this company. It's as easy as that. I think the word means something. So I'll show you some more about that in a little bit, because if people want to poke the bear, then sometimes the bear wakes up. And then you have to deal with it. If One of the things I've learned in my life, if you do poke the bear, you can't get mad when the bear lets you know you're just a guy with a stick. All right, let me show you. Let me get back to my, there we go, to the props. You guys having fun? Are you guys enjoying this so far?
Oh, yeah.
Don't you be nice to me. Yeah, thank you for that water, because my throat is melting down. All right, now back to the action. So wave 1, you guys get the idea, was old and slow, not really technology driven. Wave 2, I will tell you, the advantage of the wave 2s, they got it dead right. Easy, fast, connect, go. Driven around a personal web page, they got a big advantage. And then the people in them will say, oh, this is so much easier than Nikken, and they were partially correct. What would happen if a company was a wave 3 company and had stable and fast? What would happen if an MLM had a large, wide, and deep product line, yet had a fast introductory point to where you could get the speed of the juicy juices, but the stability of a multi-billion-dollar company? That would create a wave 3 corporation, wouldn't it? Yeah. That's what we have here with Nikken. How many of you guys have family members who are passive aggressive to you and still call it Nikken? Yeah, I got a relative named Steve. He says, are you still doing Nikken? I go, well, yes, Dave, I am. Now, what Nikken did was we've been evaluating for the past 5 to 7 years the industry. Our CEO, Kurt Foley, was under a lot of pressure from people to say, you need to do, just like Steve Jobs was told, you need to do X and Y, you need to do it now. And Steve Jobs did what he knew was right. Well, I will tell you that for 5 to 7 years, the jury really wasn't out on whether binaries and matrices were the way to go. Because you would see, like if Zango's adding, by the way, Zango was doing $2 billion 5 years ago, now they're at less than $100 million. The guy that ran that is now running a SIA. It's the CEO, go look it up. By the way, go look in the Direct Selling Association if you want to see who the real companies are. What that means is they're going to be around. Okay? Now, the reason I bring that up is if you took a company that studied the marketplace and you see Zango go from 0 to $1 billion, what would you say if you were evaluating what Nikken ought to do? Well, we ought to have that kind of a comp plan. But Kurt wanted to watch the companies. So for the past 5 to 7 years, they've been watching. And there's a trajectory that's almost identical in all of them. Right around that 3 to 5 year mark, they do this. They do this. So what Nikken said is, let's take the part where it goes up, but let's not have the part where it goes down. And then they study. But there are points, the reason it goes down is real simple. If you don't have a second, third, fourth, and fifth product, you've got nobody actually buying it. The whole comp plan is based off the buy-in. Sponsoring bonuses, sponsoring bonuses. The binary, you've got 2 legs. If I'm your upline, I'm going to say, I'm going to build your left leg, but you got to build your right leg, right? Well, guess what? You're only paid on the smaller leg. So if you have 2 million points, what are you only paid on? Yeah, so and by the way, the SEC is looking into a lot of those business models right now. Mm-hmm. Because if you're putting somebody 10 levels deep and getting a sponsoring bonus, the SEC says you can't pay that because you're not the sponsor. You also have to get paid on all your volume to be considered a legal business. So these are just little things to understand. So when Nikken made their comp plan, why didn't Kurt Foley react and just go and make a quick change? Would have been a bad result. So what we did was we built a comp plan that was built around all these new things, except we added the Nikken back in, and they actually fused the stability of a stair step with the speed of the upfront modern MLMs. And what we have now is something uniquely Nikken that really nobody has in the industry. I'm going to be showing you that over the next few minutes. So we took the best parts of a major corporation, the stability, the global presence without the job, the best parts of a franchise, the duplicatable business model without the high cost, and the best parts of network marketing without, well, network marketing. We're going to create something that is really not in that industry anymore. We're going to create a home career. You guys want to launch it in Houston right now? Yeah. All right, let's go do that. Seb said to me, well, Nikken had a quiet year last year. Okay, let's talk about that. Nikken upgraded the compensation plan, completely relaunched the IT, rebuilt and launched the best PWP in the industry. I'll talk about that in a few minutes. We launched multiple technologies. We opened Peru and the Ukraine. All of that in a year when Nikken was just between phases. Nikken did more last year than most companies do in their entire 5-year trajectory. That vital balance, do you guys realize how hard it is? By the way, is that not a perfect product?
Yeah.
Yes. It's perfect. When Colleen told me what it was, if you remember right, we were in the car and she told me what it was. I said, and I was actually upset. Because I said, that's going to be $300. That's 7 products in that at least. And I said, that's going to, how am I, and I said, we're going to have the perfect Nikken product that's the greatest thing in the world that's too expensive for anybody to buy. Like the Power Mag, I love the thing, and I know it cures all the things that hurt me. It takes me more time to explain the $289 thing than it does just to go sell a mini, right? So that's the challenge. And am I talking to you straight here, Nikken? Right? I mean, I got to do such a dance to sell it, I'd rather not dance. So I'm thinking to myself, I'm never going to be able to sell this. When she told me it was $89, I did the Saturday Night Live, what? I couldn't believe it. Just to bring that to market took years of research, millions of dollars in manufacturing. We had to market it, put it in the warehouse. Before you guys ever bought one, true or false, Nikken's upside down millions of dollars. And they have multiple more products in the on the way she just told you about. So before we've even sold out what the initial order is in the warehouse, Nikken has more technologies coming, right? Do you guys understand the difference between Nikken and the other companies in the industry? Is that, folks, I'm going to tell you, Nikken may not be perfect, it's just better. We can do more things, folks. We're the NFL. We're not the XFL with an idiot that says he hate me on the back of his jersey.